Hello there, Mike Young here from BeyondYourWeddingDay.com, and today we're going to talk about in-laws. Now, there have been many television shows and movies that have kind of provided humor using the in-law relationship. You know, shows like Everybody Loves Raymond or like the Meet the Parents series of movies all kind of play on that in-law relationship and how interesting it can be. And for some of you, interesting might even be a little bit of an understatement. So we're going to kind of talk about what happens when it comes to money in the in-laws. In other words, it can get really dicey when you either borrow money from your in-laws or they give you money on a month after month after month after month basis to kind of supplement your budget. Now, when I'm talking about in-laws here, I'm mostly talking about husbands in-laws, because it tends to be more often that the wife's dad feels like that he needs to help take care of her, and maybe even that the son-in-law isn't doing an adequate job, and this really is legitimately trying to help out, but kind of insert themselves into their finances. That tends to be more of the situation, and it can be more of the problem. And let's talk about why. There's 3 reasons why it's really not a good idea to get involved financially with your in-laws. The first is that it just completely changes the relationship. It changes the dynamics. You're now, instead of just son-in-law and father and mother-in-law, or even daughter and father and mother and that type of thing, now you're borrower and lender. And there's a different way about that relationship. And now, instead of just being able to enjoy each other, you kind of have this sense of where the in-laws might feel like they can kind of demand, so to speak, that you spend the money a certain way since they are providing the money. And that's not a situation you want to get into. The second thing is that, quite honestly, you can lose your spouse's respect. Even if it's not really admitted, even if she doesn't consciously think it, there can be a loss of self-respect there when she feels like you can't provide and that she has to rely on her daddy to provide instead. And so you want to avoid that situation at all costs, because that can really be a large cause of divorce, is to have that loss of respect for each other. And so we don't want to get in that situation. And that kind of leads into the third one, and that is a loss of respect for yourself. Especially for us men, we really get our sense of respect and satisfaction for providing for our family. And if we lose that, it really can cause us to go into depression really quickly. And so, men thrive on that satisfaction of providing. And in fact, it's just built into our DNA. And in fact, it can sometimes make us men do just like superhuman things that don't even seem possible, just because we're thriving on that satisfaction for providing for the family. And so the other thing really is that also, if you're looking into building wealth in the future, many studies show that if you get help from your parents or in-laws, you're actually less likely to build wealth. So it's kind of an interesting little fact. So again, I want to clarify, I'm not talking about occasional gifts from your parents. I'm talking about that regular, every day, every month, I should say, regular interval supplement of income. That is what we're talking about. It gets into a bad situation. And so if you're in that situation now, I really would encourage you to reevaluate it. As we come up on the new year here, reevaluate it, pray about it, and make the change, because it'll bring you and your wife closer together and give you guys the satisfaction that you can do this on your own. And that is way more important than any kind of nicer car or a bigger house. Thanks for watching. Again, I'm Mike Young from BeyondYourWeddingDay.com.